Petron, no? You don't see Dindin Manabat. Or she may be in the back row with Abby.
Myla Pablo quickly apologizes.
First point goes to the Petron Blaze Tigers.
Yeah, Myla Pablo needs to get going early. Needs to establish that outside position. Dahil pag nakaka-tempo yung... When Myla really makes tempo the ball in front of her, ay malakas pumalo yung babaeng yan.
And this girl's got so much hang time. Poor reception. Pero Morada, hindi nakuha yung palo na yun.
The regalo was returned.
Matagal pa naman daw yung Pasko.
Subok lang, coach.
Subok lang. Tolenada serving here. Tabla tayo at 1 apiece. They're gonna say there was no pancake from Reyes.
One of the few errors we see Jen Reyes make on the defensive side. Pero fairness to her, medyo mahirap yung serve. It was a net court.
Serving number 10, Ace Tolenada.
Looking for a ganon. She's dug. Tolenada open set. Ito na si Morada. Morada blocked. Aganon. Likewise, lalabas naman yun. Puntos para sa Petron. At tabla na tayo.
Sa coach, we don't really mind that, no? Swerte lang yung deflection, but you just want your blockers thumbs up, no? Try to turn them back into the court.
Nice serve there from Morada. Pablo can't get that over.
Little timing issues here for Myla Pablo.
Ito na naman yung sinasabi mo, Tex, na walang tapon. Biro mo, you know, looking at the reserves, they have Manabat, you have Dakis, who would definitely be starting for other squads. But the blocking has been very good here for Philips Gold.
Michelle Gumabao, a little familiar there with the hitting of Phil Cayetano. A couple of years of practice.
Abby Maraño finally gets on the board here. Dalawa na ang lamang ng Petron.
Yeah, Philips Gold with the change in the lineup, they really need to keep closer. Yeah, Michelle Gumabao finding Masangkay sagging a little too deep there. Goes off speed, catching Masangkay kind of watching.
Serving for the ladies Mariners, number 3,
Masangkay calling out the play. Maraño, Doug. Here's Gumabao. Kept alive that time by Morada, pero lalabas yun. At tabla na tayo at 4.
Yeah, Michelle Gumabao, all her palo there on the opposite side, bonus yan. She's really there because she's a fantastic blocker here for the outside hitters.
Yun talaga yung kanyang first option dito. Maraño trying to find a campfire. Great effort there by Pablo. Here's Cayetano off the block. There was some support, but nonetheless, puntos para sa Philips Gold.
Yeah, the middle blocker here, Philips Ibean, really making sipag, really sealing Phil Cayetano, nowhere to go.
They now take the lead.
Now Philips with the lead here. They need to put pressure on Petron. That's not the way to do it.
Pablo, not a very good start para sa kanya rito. Aside from the timing issues, that service error.
The Petron Blaze Tigers, number 13, Phil Cayetano.
Cayetano, good serve. Good dig. Kept alive. Here's Molina. Rada not in the right position at nakita. Tolenada yun.
Yeah, Tolenada pushing down here to zone 5. Sweeper's job. George Pascua just reminding his team captain. He got a sweep.
At 6, serving number 14, Hazel Maya.
Okay, captain gets out of the court, so you have to name a floor captain. And surprisingly, he names Abby Maraño.
They go to Maraño. The captain on record, and she delivers.
Coach Francis reminding his setter, hey, don't cheat up. You gotta cover your zone first. Look where Abby hits this ball.
Ultra Fast Spike brought to you by PLDT Home Ultera, the Ultra Fast LTE for a happy family. Chance now for Petron. Quick play. Kept alive. Maraño asking for it. Goes to the power tip. And Dadang scores on the other side.
Great execution of the quick play, establishing Dadang in the middle. She's going to play a crucial role here to free up Rosan Fajardo.
And serving for them is their team captain, number 7, Michelle Therese Gumabao.
Gumabao serving. Her team up by 1. There's Molina hammering that down, and we're tied at 7.
Dadang got caught leaning the other way. Coach Francis was saying, what are you doing? You gotta cover, says Molina. Dadang a little late there, almost a full step late, giving Ces Molina a virtual free swing. You don't want to give an avenue of approach for the skins of Ces Molina. Malakas pumana yung babae niyan. He's a smart hitter.
It's going to be a long day.
Careless error here for Petron.
Well, she needs to be at the forefront of that defensive attack if they want to be successful here today. Running out of space is Morada.
Okay, let's see if Philips Gold can stay on the accelerator here and put the pressure on Petron.
Serving number 4 for the Lady Spanish, Rosan Fajardo.
That time a little bit too much from Fajardo.
One goes to the Petron Blaze Spikers.
Medyo floorboarding yung accelerator. Medyo sumobra.
And serving number 7, Francis Senior Molina.
Good serve.
Service. Set now tied at 9.
Tabla na po tayo at 9.
Serving number 7.
This is not what we want to see from Philips Gold, no? Kasi in their first meeting, boy, they couldn't pass the ball to save their lives and mount any kind of offense against Petron.
They've got to take advantage of every opportunity they can here. Pablo sends that down through the blockers.
But if you're Coach Vicenta, you're saying, I'm glad she's back. Slammin' Myla Pablo is her nickname. Ang galing pumalo ng young lady na to.
And it's about time that uminit na nga siya dahil they will need her to be at her best form.
Look at that block
Excellent block
by Myla Pablo. Excellent hand placement and hand technique, no? I mean, for all you blockers who are watching, can take a tip from this young lady. Sila ni Gumabao, really nice technique on the block.
Serving number 17.
Si Morada medyo nababasa ng depensa sa araw na to. She's been denied thrice already. Cayetano. Olinada sets it outside, and that time it's a good block from Morada. They go back to Cayetano. She's blocked. Masakay tries to fool the defense. And it's going to be a point right now para sa Petron.
A little slight confusion. Maybe the set just a little on the low side. I think playtime's over, according to George Pascua. Gonna bring Mrs. Clutch. Mrs. because she's already married. Din the Clutch Manabat, who always has a knack of delivering in the most crucial of times.
You know, I like that substitution because hindi naman nagkakalayo yung talent syempre ni Morada tsaka itong si Dindin, but right now Morada just not in her element, and look at this. Dindin Manabat delivers quickly.
Oh, talagang playtime's over.
Exactly. Well, you know, Morada tsaka si Manabat are two solid players.
Oh, but they're not as tall and mas madali
Isa
sila
pa yun.
laki. No? Now, Dindin now will take charge of the net.
Mary Grace Masangkay.
Looking for Dindin. Look at that. With her height, all she had to do was just get her fingertips on it.
The Petron Blaze Fighters, courtesy of Haiti Santiago Manaba.
May dakis ka pa coming off the bench.
Full serving number 1. Mary Grace Masangkay.
Philips Gold needs to side out, so they put Dindin Manabat in the back row.
Not a good reception once again. At iyon na nagiging problema ni Coach Francis.
Another point goes to the Petron Blaze Fighters. They're now up by 2 points.
They were down earlier. Ngayon, lamang ng Petron.
Mary Grace Masangkay.
Chance here once again. Who did they go to? Over to Cayetano. Bang! Height is might.
When right on defend, you start from the back when move forward. Don't cheat forward and try to move back. It's not going to work.
Nice effort there by Reyes. Pablo blocked. And again it's Molina. Masangkay not there for support.
It's got to boost the confidence here of Myla Pablo, getting it through on the third time, not quitting. Diba, gumawa ng paraan to si Myla Pablo. Talang ayaw malakas, hinaan ko. Yun pa yung nakalusot.
Tolenada with a serve. Her team down by 2. Aganon. Easily dug. Pablo once again.
That Dindin Manabat caught half a step late, created the seam. Myla Pablo just went between it. Actually, Dindin Manabat didn't jump. He apologizes to her coach.
They go right back to Dindin. And how do you stop a scoring machine like that?
Yeah, what Philips Gold got to do, they cannot jump with her. They have to jump maybe split second later and try to soft block her. But now she's in the back row. So this is where Philips Gold will have to make a run.
Gumabaw, dug by Reyes. And Cayetano will score here.
When she was interviewed, because she was the best player of the game, she said that if everybody's low and I'm low, then we're all low. But if everybody's low and I raise my game, I might be able to raise the game of my teammates. So talagang total team concept here from Dindin Manabat.
Nice effort there that time. Trying to get down and dirty was Manabat, but Gumaba will score.
Let's see how they match up here. You have Gumaba and Mea here, quite tall, no? But you have Aganon and Abi Maranyo also as tall. Rosan Fajardo will be the X factor here.
Finding his spot again.
And there's Abi Maranyo, the veteran, no? Going over the hands of Rosan Fajardo, the smallest blocker on that wing, and coming here to zone 1.
For the Blaze Spikers, number 5, Philson, Cayetano.
Tolenada calling out the play. Back set. Finds Gumaba and she will score.
Yeah, tooling Ces Molina's hands were a little off the net. Smart hitting there, Michelle Gumaba.
Serving number 14, Hazel Mea.
Aganon a step late that time.
That attack then made it to the other side of the net.
Medyo yung angle na hinanap niya, medyo mahirap yun.
The latest flowers
Very hard cut shot.
Still serving number 14, Hazel Mea.
The lead of Petron down to 1. Molina sends that wide.
It was sent out. Point goes to.
And here comes Dakis.
Playtime's over.
Ladies Hammers at Philippine.
Not to take anything away from Ces Molina, who's a good hitter in her own right. But imagine, she's not, not delivering as usual. Substitute mo si Rachel Dakis.
Kaya nga, yun ang sinasabi natin. Same thing with Murado earlier. Maranyo running out of space. At lamang na ang Philips Gold.
Philips Gold, Ladies Hammers. Now
Rachel Dakis
take the
waking her
lead.
legs up. Say, fresh off the bench.
Fajardo, Doug. Nice play there for Maranyo.
9 point goes to.
Well, Maranyo did a lot of track work there in that point. Atras, abante, chacha doble. But for all you middle attackers or middle blockers there, you can abbreviate the approach or the retreat as Abby did. Basta stay in rhythm.
Nice block. Dakis pushes that back. Dakis with a block there. Mama na daw sa net.
No lifting.
Ball against number 7.
Coverage, baka may naka-open hand.
Because she quickly turned around when it looked like that point was still alive. Nonetheless, nakapuntos na naman ang Petron. Lamang na sila na isa. It's going to be a thrilling finish here for set number 1, and now we're tied.
Point goes to. The Ladies Hammers, all Philips Gold.
Fortunate contact here for Dadang, but nonetheless, point is a point.
Yun ang masakit para dito kay Michelle Gumabaw.
Substitution for
Here comes
Philips
Espelita.
Gold. 7 out, 6 in. 10 out, 12 in.
Papasok na rin si Loren, Gumabaw, and Tolenada.
Substitution for
Take a seat.
Petron. 4 out,
Perez checking
1
in together with Maisek.
Serving number 2, Abigail Maranyo.
Maranyo now serving, her team up by 1. Business end of set number 1 here. They're double checking. And finally, we're good to go. Maranyo now with the serve.
Desiree Nada.
Sabi ni Maranyo, she got the pancake save.
Sabi ni first referee Parillo, tortilla.
And serving for the Ladies Hammers.
Those are two different things.
Number 4, Roseanne Fajardo.
Fajardo serving. Tabla na tayo.
Wow.
Back-to-back mistakes on serve. You cannot afford to do that against Petron, especially in the end game.
No, this is the meat and potatoes now of the set. Talagang namamaga lahat ng error mo dito.
Number 3, Rachel Dakis.
Dakis, sinigurado na ipasok yun. Gohing, not with the best receptions.
Medyo nalula ito si Espelita. You're the setter. Kind of reminder here from Coach Francis, jump set pwede.
Serving number 3,
Dakis na naman, lamang na ng dalawang Petron.
Dakis.
Wow, Philips Gold scores off that one.
Kaya si the setter, medyo lumuhod muna. Si Perez, lumuhod muna siya, so it really limited how she could handle the angle of the shot. All you defenders out there, don't kneel first.
When you got Manabat, why don't you just keep going to her? she delivers once again.
I mean, there's no secret where they're gonna go. This is where Alexa Misek does most of her damage from the service area.
Alexa Misek.
Again, a campfire.
And point goes to the Lady Slammers of Philippines.
Well, it has not been pretty para dito sa Philips Gold, but they're still within one.
8 now.
Okay, for all you watching, there is a
Petron.
formal way to handle it as governed by the FIVB. It has to be done in a certain way, so it's uniform throughout.
12 out. 10 in.
Whether it's done here or Timbuktu,
7
it's the same, parehong-pareho. It has to be formal and
serving for
and proper, no?
the
May
Lady
protocol.
Slammers,
Tamang protocol nga.
So the stable officials who are actually the written tally of this entire game, reminding Petron they're out of subs. You only have 6 per game. Or 6%, I should say.
That's right. Manabat tries to send that down. That's gonna go over. Ouch! For Petron. And Philips goal again. It has not been the way you draw it up in practice, but nonetheless, tabla tayo, 23.
Fortuitous overset there from Masangkay for Philips Gold. And smartly just putting it deep. You don't want to serve Jen Reyes. Okay, nice transition time for...
Pablo is blocked though.
Excellent block by the
That's been,
Petron Lady
there's a
Spikers.
form flaw here of Myla Pablo. She kind of cuts her approach short. She should be somewhere in the green, jumping into the orange. But now, it limits her. Sayang. It kind of transferred to Philips Gold before we were able. I think he wants to target Roseanne Fajardo on the Philips Gold side, discussing offensive options. But it boils down to what's been haunting Philips Gold. Their pass, good pass.
That's sent wide. And Petron's gonna take this first set.
Spikers takes the first set.
Wasn't convincing,
Congratulations.
but as far as they're concerned, they'll take it any which way they can. First set going to Petron here.